Hi, I'm KS Garner, and you're listening to the Solo Nerd Podcast. Today, I'll be speaking with the mixed media artist behind Warp Vortex Art and cosplayer Tiersa Sullivan, aka Vortex, here to talk about their art experiences as a longtime cosplayer, fellow podcaster, and products offered on their website. Welcome, Vortex.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for reaching out and constantly getting me because it's just so much that I have on my plate. I just forget stuff all the time. I apologize for that.
Hey, we are all in the same boat,
Uh-huh.
so artists always got something to do.
Yeah, I always God, I have so much to do nowadays, and I'm doing it full time because I feel like I have to fill up my schedule to,
Uh-huh.
I guess, to just cause, but that's an aside. But uh,
Well, I
outside
didn't
my
know you
interest,
were doing this full time now.
yeah, I've been doing it for like a year full time.
Wow.
And
Wow.
then the
Look.
writing that I'm doing as well. So I've actually reduced the interviews down. I used to do two of them, publish two of them a week,
hmm
but now I'm reducing them down to just one day a week,
I mean, you
which
you
is
got to know your limits. Like I was doing it every other Friday, and I had to just stop
uh,
and focus on the business side, which is Warp Vortex Art, because I just had so many conventions and fairs and pop-ups lined up. Like I
mhm.
have BlurCon in a couple weeks, and after that I have Shore Leave, and then after that I have TCon. So yeah, so my podcast will not be back until probably August, maybe
Uh-huh.
September.
Well, we kind of jumped ahead a little bit, which is fine,
I know. Yeah.
but that's
we
fine.
just
But
flowing. We just flowing.
but outside my introduction, who is Vortex in their own words?
So Vortex is a weird, beautiful person. Um, I chose Vortex because sometimes that's just where my brain goes. I'll think of one thing and then I'll just flip the script and think of a whole other concept for my art. I love glow in the dark. And one of the reasons is because I knew there was a spark, there was a glow in me. And I felt as though growing up in certain areas of my life, I wasn't giving the opportunity to show that. And I put that in my art to help bring out the glow in other people. So
Mhm.
that's what I do.
Well, what kind of, I guess you already mentioned it, but what kind of art does Warped Vortex art offer? Like, what do you specialize in? So you say glow in the dark. Is there anything
Yes.
else that you would like to produce and to sell to other people?
Well, it's mixed media art. So I
Mhm.
use laser cutters, I use glow powder, resin. I also use glow in the dark vinyl, glow in the dark thread. So I do a lot of layered artwork. For instance, actually, I have one right here. It's a mock-up. So it's Fela Kuti. If you can see, there we go.
Yeah, it is.
And so that's like 5 layers of vinyl right there. So
Oh,
that's what
wow.
I'm working on right now.
Uh-huh.
And it glows in the dark. So I'm starting to do portraits. I put it on canvas. I'm also I just started t-shirts. So I'm doing layered vinyl t-shirts that glow in the dark.
Mhm.
I'm also coming out next year with my own clothing line. And the clothing is going to be non-gender and just so it can fit all kinds of body types.
Yeah. And you also do work with magnets. I wanted to just put that out there. Okay. The
That's
bookmark.
my bookmark.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thread glows in the dark. So I will be doing a lot more with glow in the dark thread in my fashion line.
So let's go ahead and I guess transition into your cosplay. So I just watched it's like a really short 20-25 minute documentary about black cosplayers by Cheyenne Iwulu
Uh-huh.
called The Shades of Cosplay. So they discuss their joys and like offenses they've experienced navigating in the cosplay world. So how has your experience been as a cosplayer?
Well, one, it's so diverse.
Mhm.
I love cosplay and I just wish that folks would just see it as an art form
Mhm.
instead of just, oh, well, you don't match that gender or you don't match that skin type. I mean, a lot of the cosplays out there are based off of Japanese art.
Yeah.
Hello. But I mean, in the same aspect, like it's for everyone, it's for everyone, age, gender, culture, it's just art. And I just wish folks would see it as that. I sometimes like to do gender bends. I definitely have been enjoying Michael Burnham from Star Trek Discovery, because growing up it was all about cowboys and shoot 'em up and bang bang. It's like there has to be more to Star Trek than this. And then Discovery came around. It's like, yes, this is what it should be all about. So that right now is my favorite cosplay right now. And I get so many kudos. I even met some of the cast from
Oh,
Star
wow.
Trek Discovery at Awesome Con. And when they saw me, they was like, oh, it's Captain. It's Captain. So that was like, okay, validation. I pulled it off.
Yeah, as I was watching it, they pretty much said the same thing. Like, this is an art, and the craftsmanship for a lot of the props that these people put together, like the people are putting their stuff together like a year in advance a lot of the times, because in the competitions you kind of have to put them together yourself in a way.
Well,
But
there's
yeah, it's
different
like,
categories when you go into the competitions.
And I remember this one black guy was talking about how he went as Beast Boy and from Teen Titans, and he's like, he's green. And a lot of the Teen Titans are not even human. So a lot of people on Reddit were mad. It was like, oh, Beast Boy's not black. I was like, no, he's not black. He's green. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
I guess because they figured the voice actor is white, that he's automatically white too. Like with Starfire and Raven, and Cyborg is half robot. Like, is he supposed to go as Cyborg because we all see him as black? What does that mean? And then there was one woman who went as one of the My Little Ponies, and people were mad about that because I guess they don't see these fictional characters that are not even human as they see them as white in their eyes, in their mind. It's like they're not real. So why does it even matter?
Right. Exactly. I mean, sometimes I think it's just for their personal justification to make sense of things, because as humans we have to categorize, but come on, just think outside the box.
Yeah, I just love the creativity a lot of people have with their cosplays when they dress up as like a transformer or something they saw in the video game. It's crazy. I remember going to Baltimore Comic-Con last year, and out of all of the cosplays, one of my favorite was they were doing the Doctor Strange ones. So here in Baltimore, when they on the steps outside of the convention center, they were out there and they were doing all the Doctor Stranges. And there was one that was a Doctor Strange Prince. So he had the guitar of Prince's symbol and everything. He had the, his hair and his glasses and like his facial hair and everything as Prince, but he still is Doctor Strange. So I thought that was really cool.
Cool. Yeah, there's a Super Saiyan around here. And he's a Saiyan Prince, I believe that's his handle. So yeah, he's like the Vegeta version of Prince.
Yeah, I want to get into cosplay, and it's not that I'm afraid of like any type of being discriminated against. It's just that it's for me, it's just so many ideas of trying to narrow it down. I think it seems like an easy one to me would maybe be Link from Zelda, because I'm thinking I could use that at the con, and I can maybe use it at like the Renaissance fair. So that's what I was thinking, maybe. Just get it together.
I mean, sometimes you may already have the stuff in your closet. You just have to think outside the box, like with Ironheart. I just went to Rainbow and got a regular red shirt and just laser cut a couple pieces, and then I had my Ironheart, so, and I mean, of course I had to get the wig. The wig is fabulous. But yeah, that's my Ironheart costume. So like it doesn't take much to cosplay. I mean, I would love to learn foam smithing. That
What's that?
foam smithing, when you take EVA foam and you can transform into body armor, stuff like
Oh,
that.
foam. I thought you said
Yeah.
phone, like
Oh
phone. I was like,
yeah,
oh,
foam.
okay.
Yeah, foam smithing. That's a whole other art skill. So
Uh-huh.
maybe one day, and then put in the LEDs and just amp it up to 1,000.
Yeah. Well, speaking of cosplay, you also have a podcast called Cosplay and Conversation, which we mentioned earlier, which is on pause for right now until August, which is totally understandable. This stuff is not it's
It's
not
not
easy.
easy. It's not for the faint at hearts.
It's
It's not.
really not. But obviously it involves cosplay, but what does the conversations typically entail?
So basically, I dress up as, maybe if you had a comic book, I would dress up as one of the characters from your comic book or something like that. If you were a cosplayer, I would wear a cosplay that complements your character, and we just talk about like what we're doing now. We just talk
Mhm.
about the individual, what they do, why they do it, plug them in, what organizations they may be affiliated with, because a lot of cosplayers are also philanthropists. So just giving other people a voice and a platform to share it on.
Well, could you elaborate on your creative process both as a mixed media artist and as a cosplayer? Like, do you view cosplaying as, well, I guess you do, as an art, as you mentioned before, or um like, do you compete in the competitions, or is it more of just a hobby, like you do just dress up at the cons, maybe as your own booth, and have they ever crossed over and blended into one another, maybe? Would that make
Um, yes to all of the questions. So Warp Vortex art and cosplay and conversation feed off of one another. Warp
sense?
Vortex art um, creates the cosplays for cosplay and conversation. And the creative process is like, I'll acquire some denim, and like with the bookmark that I made, I'll just sit with it and figure out, what can I do with this denim? I have so much. What can I do? And I might cut it into different shapes and just, maybe lay it on different other fabrics or wood or something like that. And I mean, it sounds funny, but I just let the material speak to me. And that's how I came up with the bookmarks. Doing some research. And then after I made the first prototype, because prototyping is very, very important. I don't care who you are, I don't care what skill level you have, prototype, or you're going to waste your time and waste material. So always prototype. So with the first prototype, I liked it, but it wasn't staying on the page the way I wanted to. So I was like, oh, there's such a thing as miniature magnets. Why don't I incorporate that into it? That makes sense. So that's how I started making the bookmarks. And then yeah, there it is. Yep. And then with the cosplay, it's more so what I'm into at that moment. Like I said, with Michael Burnham, because of the Star Trek Discovery, I was just in the thrift store one day and I just so happened to see this really long red dress. I was like, I can totally turn that into a Starfleet jacket. So that's what I did. And I'm not that skillful with a 3D printer, but there's a thing called Thingiverse. So, and I knew someone had to have made the com. So I just downloaded that, painted it, and it became my Starfleet jacket. So sometimes it's just what I see in the moment becomes my inspiration.
Well, have you ever been commissioned to make a cosplay for somebody, or maybe a prop for someone for their cosplay?
So I have only done one commission, and it was for my nephew. It was it was a few years ago. My My sister is very, very competitive, and my nephew wanted to be a transformer. So he's like, Auntie, can you please make me a transformer? So I did it in like less than a week. I will never do that again. That was so stressful. But I ended up doing the cardboard version of Optimus Prime. And when he lied down, he actually transformed into the truck, which was really cool. And I did not want to be too attached to the artwork because he was only like 6 or 7 at the time, and I knew it was going to be destroyed because everyone's gonna be like, oh my goodness, this is so cool. But when he came home, like you could tell the teachers try to fix it with duct tape. They really tried. but yeah, and I laser cut the all spark, so I put like LEDs in it so he could turn it on, and he had the all spark and he could like reveal it. So yeah, I went all out for him. But like as far as commissions, I don't do it because I can barely do my own cosplay. So sorry, y'all out there, I can't do it. I can barely do my own.
So what advice could you offer to other creators, whether it be in mixed media art and cosplay, it can be with the podcasting or whatever it may be, that you wish someone would have told you when you first started?
Well, I think I got a lot of advice. I did a lot of research. Shout out to my mentors. I love Nerd Life. They inspired me to start my podcast. But the advice that they gave to me was make sure that you have the energy to do it. Because like what both you and I said at the beginning, like we have to tone it down a little bit. It's very involved, especially if you're serious about it. I mean, it has opened my eyes to a lot of possibilities, and it's nothing to sleep on. Like you gotta set up the interviews, you gotta make sure people fill out your paperwork because you need consent. You need to do the editing, you gotta publish, you gotta make sure the hashtags are right. Just it's the hashtags.
I have I have like multiple notes in the note app on my thing that has all the hashtags, and it's just that saves me like 30 minutes of time.
It does. But at the same time, it's like you gotta still edit it because everyone is different. So you gotta plug them in and plug that in and do all your socials, hopefully at the same time, and then pray that it actually works. Because I have definitely uploaded videos that I was very proud of, and then I get a quick message like it cuts out at 30 seconds. Like what? So just be ready for things to happen. But like I said, prototype. Don't waste your material. I have definitely wasted material thinking, oh, it's good. Especially if you're working with wood. Wood has their seasons. Like you could definitely buy a bad batch of wood and just ruin everything. And it's not your fault. It's just nature. So just, prototype, make sure you have the energy. And if you don't have the energy, like just love yourself. Take the time off. Like I've recently definitely seen some podcasters be like, work is taking over. Be back in a month. Like just be honest with folks. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with your audience. They'll respect you a lot more.
Yeah, like I said, like we said in the beginning, I had to reduce it down, and reducing it down allows me to have more time to do other things, even just to maybe like I've been taking more naps lately, which is really nice.
Yes.
I was like, I haven't taken a nap in a really long time. This is nice.
It is
really nice. But it allows me to have multiple interviews in the week, but then they get published later on. And again, I kind of do other things.
Yes.
And yeah, it's just a lot. And you just have to, like you said, adapt, because like there's really no rules to any of this. Like it's still kind of like brand new, even though there's people who've been podcasting for like 10 years. But in order for them to be doing it for 10 years, they've adapted to the culture or society or whatever is going on at the time for them to still continue to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So it's
And
just,
if you don't get the likes, don't worry about it.
yeah.
Don't worry about it. Like your message may be just for 5 people, and that's
Mhm.
great. That's great. But if you're serious, then you will get that slow burn that you need, to get where you need to go. Just, don't stress out about, oh, they didn't like it. But what I can't stand are those trolls. Like, you should post on, and please leave me alone. Don't fill up my messages with that BS. Like, stop. Please.
So you get the trolls is it with the cosplay? Is it with the podcasting or
All of the above. Like,
all
you
of it?
should you should post that, black entrepreneurs. And it's like, thanks, but they want money from me, and I no. Like, no, no, thank you. Just
Yeah.
like it and keep on going. Thank you. Leave it for someone else who actually appreciates my work.
Uh-huh. Well, I guess throughout pretty much everything that you do, and then this is just the stuff that you do either as a living or as a hobby. This doesn't even include, parenting and maybe being, in a partnership. And then who knows, you may have like a full-time or part-time job outside and then trying to maintain a social life and
Yes.
time for yourself. So does it or has it ever become overwhelming in like too much at times? Like, we've talked about it multiple times about taking time out for ourselves, but how do you typically manage your mental well-being when it does become too much?
Just know when to say no. The power of no is empowering. Even because I have a full-time job, and then I had a part-time job, and I also do mentoring on the side, and full-time parent, and then my businesses. It's just knowing when to say, okay, I need to stop in this moment. Wellness day, even if wellness day is just taking a nap all day and having ice cream for breakfast, it's fine. It's totally fine.
I've been eating
Yeah.
Beyond Meat burgers. I had one this morning for like 10 o'clock this morning. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I can't be bothered with making
Yeah.
a healthy breakfast. Not today.
Yeah, not today. Not today. I made some pulled pork last night and was like, hey, it's gonna be breakfast. Yay!
Exactly. I can't be bothered. I'm eating French fries and my skin's gonna hate me in like a couple of days. And I'm like, I'll be fine. It'll be all
You'll be
right.
fine. Yes, it will clear up. It will clear up. But yeah, just knowing you have to listen to yourself, point blank. If your body's like, oh, we're having a breakout, you need to slow it down, or you just have to listen to yourself, because everyone's body talks to them differently, and you just have to know your own body language. So
Yeah, my body will just like not shut down. I think I'm just exaggerating when I say that. But my like a couple of weeks ago, I was thinking of like slowing down and how to really do that, because for the last like year and a half, I've been doing these interviews. I've been doing the podcast for 3 years, but I've been doing the interviews pretty much consistently, at least one a week for the last year, right? Like year and a half at this point. And I like, what does that look like slowing down, since I'm so used to, going with this momentum of at least one person a week. And like that next day, my body was like, nope, you're not doing anything. I was sick for like 3 days after that, and I hadn't been sick in a while. It was just like a summer cold. I don't know where I got it from. But yeah, it's my body just kind of like was like, no, you have to rest and slow down. And then that's when I decided, okay, I'm only going to do one a week,
right.
and then just post them like whenever I can, and just do it like that, because it's not killing me. Again, that would be an exaggeration, but figuratively, it's killing me. So.
Yeah, there's only one of you.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to take care of you, and that's extremely important. And sometimes folks don't get that.
No, they don't.
If you go down, who's going to take care of you?
Exactly. But my last question for you, Vortex, is what is your idea of success? So I ask that because as creators, if we're not getting regular paychecks from a full-time job or making consistent revenue from our art, we're considered failures or we consider ourselves failures. Many of us will put our dreams and projects on the back burner or give them up altogether because this career path can be highly intimidating and competitive. So what is your idea of quote unquote success?
Well, I will say I would like to win cash for life, putting it out there. But right now, because of the T virus, because you can't say the other word apparently. Yeah, I learned that at one of the cons at um a meetup. But just right now, success for me is giving back and resting, because if I don't rest, then I'll be cranky. And if I'm cranky, then I won't be able to do the things that I want to do and need to do to help other people. um, I definitely would like to be able to pay all my bills on time or early.
Uh-huh.
But I have to trust in the process and believe that I'm on the right path. And so far, that has been working.
Mhm.
Doors have definitely been opening up. I'm the type of person, when I go up the ladder, you go up the ladder. We all going up at the same time. I'm not going to go up and then put send it back down for y'all. We going together. Let's do this together. So I've been going to a few pop-ups and bringing some friends with me, asking um, the folks putting together the pop-ups if like I could share a table with a friend. So like, hey, you start your business, share the table with me, yeah, just
Mhm.
get your stuff out there. So that's success for me in this moment. Bringing my friends up with me who also are artists, because we have to stick together, we have to communicate, we have to share the wealth. Uh, it's lonely at the top, and I don't want to
Yeah.
be lonely at the top. I want to have all my peace with me. Like, yes, we made it. Be more. Let's do this.
Mhm. Yeah,
Positivity.
I never understood the appeal of, I guess, is well, not the appeal, but it's lonely at the top, and then it's like people kind of look at it not as a good thing, but it's like they're at the top, but you're there by yourself. Like,
Right,
so
right,
what's the point of being up there by yourself?
right.
You
And
can
and
have
what's
other
the
people.
whole point of, sending the elevator back down? Like, why can't we share the elevator?
Uh-huh.
Why can't we all be on there? It could probably hold 2K, 2,000 pounds. Like, come on.
Yeah, I think an elevator, a standard elevator can hold like almost 3,000 pounds, like
Yeah, yeah.
2,800 pounds.
Something like that. Like, you can pile the people in.
Exactly. Well, is there anything else that you want to touch on about your business, Vortex Art, or you as a cosplay, podcast? I know you mentioned that you're going to be at some cons. Do you know the ones you'll be at exactly?
So I will definitely be at BlurCon in a couple of weeks. That's the first weekend in July. And then the weekend after that, I will be at Shore Leave. So BlurCon is in Virginia, Shore Leave is in Maryland. And then I will be at TCon, which is a T-shirt convention, the third weekend in July, and that's in DC.
Will you be at Baltimore Comic Con? Have you applied for that?
Yes, that's not until October, but yes, I applied for that before I left last year. So I will definitely be at Baltimore Comic Con this year. So yeah, come see me, check me out.
I just asked that one specifically because I applied for it, and I'm pretty much asking everybody who else is going to be there because
I will be
I've
there.
never worked a con before, so I have no idea.
Oh, hit me up. I will help you with whatever you need help with. Are you gonna have a table? Or are you gonna do like a discussion? What you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing a table for my books.
Okay.
Um and yeah, that's pretty much it. They asked for like requests, and I was like,
Mhm.
can you just put me where all the other urban fantasy authors are gonna be? I don't want to be in the
Right,
back or
right,
anything
right,
like
right,
that. Can
right.
you put me, because I know Rod Van Blake
Yeah.
was by like the bathrooms over there, but it's a high traffic area right there. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, if you can put me somewhere over there and it was two other authors. I forget the
JP
name,
Jackson.
huh?
JP Jackson.
JP Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And it was two other female urban fantasy authors that were over there too. They were like, Rob was in this lane, and then one was here, and then the other was on the other side. And I forgot their names. I bought their books. They're somewhere around here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just like, can you just put me over there with them? I really appreciate it. But that was pretty much it. So.
I mean, I do the same. Like, there's certain cons if I know for sure that like another friend vendor is going to be there, like, put me next to them, and then we just have our snacks and we just be geeking the whole time. So.
All right. Well, again, I want to thank the mixed media artist behind Warp Vortex Art and cosplayer Tiersa Sullivan, aka Vortex, for joining us here today to discuss their art, Warped Vortex Art, experiences as a longtime cosplayer, the host of Cosplay and Conversations podcast, and products offered on their website. I highly recommend our listeners to consider giving Vortex's website a look and support if they can. All of Vortex's socials and website will be listed in this episode's details for those who are interested. Again, I'm KS Garner, and you've been listening to the Solo Nerd Podcast. Thank you.